Hello guys and welcome back to League One predictions. We are back, myself and the amazing Benjamin Bloom, predicting the third tier of English football. We've got 12 big games coming this weekend and we've also got 3 games in midweek to predict next week. Be sure to play along with us and get your predictions down below. Ben, how are you?
Well, I'm good. You've called me amazing there. I think amazing should only be reserved for Leyton Orient. Yes, we are going to talk about Leyton Orient again. A few spare games last night, Matt, and another incredible win for them. And looking forward to hearing the scores as well. You say there may be good news here.
Going into the weekend, I had a 7-point lead over Ben. Ben managed to win at the weekend 7-5, closing the gap to 5 points. And last night, in just 6 games, we had a score of Matt 1, Ben 11. So Ben has gone zooming into the distance, a combination of my terrible predictions and Ben's brilliance. Well done, mate.
Oh, thank you. I'll take it. This has very much ebbed and flowed, hasn't it? We've both had leads and we've both had deficits, but yeah, very happy to hear that, Matt.
Yeah, a thumping comeback there from Benjamin Bloom. I'm really sorry to those guys that want me to win these predictions. I feel like I've let you down. I feel like I've let my family down, and I feel like I've let myself down. So I will come back.
You said that I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
But as Ben said, there were some big storylines, including Leyton Orient beating Wrexham. We will get into all of that in due course. Guys, the final thing before we get into the predictions is be sure to support us. Drop a like on this video. It takes 2 seconds. Make sure as well to subscribe over here. And come on, subscribe to Benjamin Bloom. If you want accurate predictions, that's where you need to go. The first link in the description. Check out Ben's amazing channel. Ben, let's go to Reading versus Birmingham City. I'll let you go first for this, but we do need to say congratulations to Birmingham City, who have booked a visit to Wembley.
I'm not saying congratulations to Birmingham. I'm going to have a go at Birmingham here. I'm going to say, Birmingham, what the hell are you doing? Before we started recording, Matt and I did the points projection. And what was it? 109.44. Birmingham, that's pathetic. I need 110 points from you. What do you think you're playing at here, Birmingham? But no, we were also saying, certain big clubs stagnate in the Championship with that awful structure with the haves and have-nots and the way the TV money is patently unfairly distributed. And it's actually quite nice when, for the fan bases of these clubs to have a season where you can win and you can have fun. And it looks like they're not only going to win and have lots of fun, but there may be a trophy coming, but it could be an interesting final. Look, Matt, each and every week we're just predicting Birmingham wins. Way out 4 or 5 months ago, we said this will be the point where having a better squad and, more money and the leverage of that really, really is going to hit now. I know Reading have been decent at points, but I'm going to take Birmingham. I'm going to take a clean sheet. I'll go 2-0. Reading 0, Birmingham 2.
Yeah, so it really does feel like this season is the rebirth of Birmingham City. Obviously went on a great FA Cup run, came up just a bit short against Newcastle. Controversially, we could say as well, they've booked their place at Wembley where they will be favourites, whoever they play. And they are on course for 109 points to absolutely smash this division to pieces. They're 11 points clear, Ben, with 2 games in hand. So absolutely flying. Good win. Like I say, against Bradford City. One caveat is Jay Stansfield was stretchered off, but still have so many superstars in that team. And we'll see how long Stansfield's out for. But regardless, I think this team is too powerful. This was the game from the opening day of the season, wasn't it? I think
yeah.
Reading got a draw. I'm going to back Birmingham to edge this one. Maybe Tuesday could have taken it out of them a little bit if Reading have had a rest, but I still think Birmingham will get the win. I'll go Reading 1. Birmingham 2 as my prediction, and we're both back in Birmingham yet again this week. On to the next one, Ben. It's a Yorkshire derby, and I'm going first for Rotherham United versus Barnsley, which is the battle of 2 very out-of-form teams. Both in poor form, really, Ben. I mean, Barnsley have really fallen away from the playoffs. Rotherham have never really been near the playoffs. I mean, Barnsley 10 points off it now, Ben. They were right in there a few weeks ago. This feels like a flip of the coin. A draw would probably sound right, because they're both not winning at the moment, but I'll go for Rotherham. Absolutely no reason. Maybe Steve Evans masterclass 2-1.
In which case, mate, if you've left me the draw, I'll take the draw. Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like, can they both lose? And disappointed with both. Traditionally, the teams find their levels in the hierarchy, and without patronising Rotherham or Barnsley, when they're in League One, we expect them to be up towards the top. Maybe they've struggled traditionally in the Championship, but falling away. I wonder in terms of Darryl Clark and security and whatnot, because a lot was expected of Barnsley having been in the playoffs the last couple of seasons as well. So I'll take the draw. I'll go completely miserably boring and go 1-1.
There you go. I think that was our logic for Barnsley Huddersfield last week, because they were both out of form, but we did find a winner. Huddersfield did beat Barnsley. Let's see if Rotherham or Barnsley can get a crucial win. The next game, Ben, you are going first for at Bloomfield Road as Blackpool take on Crawley.
This is where I'm regretting just calling a draw, because I can see that Blackpool have 4 consecutive draws and Crawley have 2 consecutive draws. So I think that might be where I would have gone had I not just called a draw. I'm going to go with Blackpool, home form, slightly, in terms of squad quality, to just edge it, I think. So I'm going to take Blackpool to win this one 2-1, even though you're about to tell me that Crawley have got 5 points in the last 3 games, which is very good for a team in the bottom 4.
Yeah, I wouldn't have blamed you for going for the draw. I think that's where I'm landing on this one. Blackpool, you'd make them favourites with the home advantage. The table tells you they're a better team. They're just drawing too many, though, Ben. I mean, look how many they've drawn. They've drawn 14 this season. They've actually lost fewer games than Leyton Orient, which is quite interesting. It's just the draws that are killing them. Crawley, there is a bit of fight about them, so I will go for them to get another draw in their sort of pursuit to survive. And look at the bottom end of the table, Ben. It is really close now. Peterborough United are quaking in their boots with the teams behind them. So we've got 2-1 Blackpool, and I'm going for the 1-1 draw. I am up first for Bolton versus the Orient Express, and they've absolutely run right through Wrexham without stopping there, Ben. A 2-1 win on the Tuesday night. I mean, I tell you, your predictions were good on Tuesday. You were very close to getting another point there, because you had Wrexham 2, Orient 2, and Orient were down to 10 men for the last couple of minutes. So you weren't actually far off with that one. But Orient won, and I think I've got to go for them again. It does feel like Bolton have found their feet. It's a big game in the playoff race, this, but I'm going to go Bolton 1, Orient 2.
Yeah, it's ridiculous for us to go for anything other than... I know Bolton are a good side, and Schumacher's just getting his feet under the table, but I just had a look. I think I've added it up right, Matt. 12 wins in 15 for Leyton Orient in the EFL. I know they've had some cup wins in there as well, but they are not just in playoff form. They're... that's title winning form by a mile, isn't it?
They're in Birmingham form.
They're in Birmingham form, aren't they? And stay tuned for the quickfire round at the end of the show, because we have an amazing fixture Tuesday night to talk about where we're going to have to go against one of our hot favourites here. Forgive me, Matt. I got so excited about the game coming up on Tuesday. What was your scoreline? I know you went Orient.
At 2-1.
Yeah, they're good for both teams to score, aren't they? I'll take them 1-0. Bolton 0, Orient 1.
There you go. Both back in Leyton Orient. Do share your thoughts down below, guys. If we look at Leyton Orient in the table now, 3 points clear of 7th place. Yeah, even despite the brilliant form, if Wycombe keep grinding out wins, I'm not sure if top 2's on. It's difficult looking at who's going to actually challenge them. I suppose Wrexham are the best challenge to Wycombe, but we'll come on to those
Matt,
teams later.
We have this theory sometimes with playoffs that you can go too early. If you're going to land in the playoffs and you're not going to be in the top 2, you just want to be in red hot form in May, don't you? So there's always that theory, isn't there, of, does a team have an advantage if they're really in form at the point the playoffs start? So that's the only thing I'd say about Orient, because they've got to keep up this pace, not just to the end of the season, but right through May, given what you've just said about how the level of points that Wycombe and Birmingham are putting on at the top 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we could get a high bar for 6th place, Ben, if these teams keep performing as they are, because Charlton are doing well as well. I'm presuming that's projecting high 70s. Ben, you're up first for Cambridge versus another one of our playoff teams, Stockport County.
Has Gary Monk's been sacked? Am I right?
He has, yes.
Saying that, yeah. So we've got to I'm probably going to go quite heavy on Stockport here because, I mean, some Cambridge fans might argue that you get the no manager bounce here and there's a bit of a fresh start sort of paradigm happening, but it's Stockport, isn't it? And they're so consistent. So I'm going to take Stockport comfortably. Cambridge 0, Stockport. Shall I go 2 or 3? I'm going to go 2. Calm down.
Oh, Ben, that's a scribble. Yeah. It is. You've talked me into going higher, though, and I think I'll take the 3-0. Now you've gone for the 2-0. I agree. I mean, I was already a bit worried about Cambridge, but when the manager goes and you're starting to get cut adrift, 8 points, it's not the worst I've ever seen in League One, but, you've got to overtake 4 teams. So we're talking Cambridge, you've got to bash out quite a few wins between now and the end of the season. And Stockport are in great form. I mean, Stockport, I suppose, because we're talking about Birmingham and Leyton Orient a lot, Stockport bashing out so many wins. That's 16 points in the last 6 games. 6 points off the playoffs, Ben. 6 points off the top 2, sorry, Ben. They have played a game more than Wycombe. Are they in that conversation? I suppose they are, aren't they?
Mathematically, they have to be, but I think from a narrative standpoint, I don't have them in that conversation. I'd love to see them keep on pushing, and me and you just love as many teams in the automatic promotion shake-up as possible. But I don't think you can ignore the high level. I suppose Wycombe are only just above 2 points per game, so it is okay. I changed my mind. It is plausible that they're in that conversation, but the streak has to continue now for another month or so to get them close, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's hard to overtake in an automatic race. We touched on an analogy you used with down at the bottom, it's tortoise racing. This is Formula One racing. This is
very much so, yeah.
Crazy racing at the top, and it's hard to overtake teams.
With a nuclear rocket in the Formula One race in Birmingham this year,
yeah, exactly. The next game, Ben, is Charlton versus Exeter City. I am up first for this. Charlton need to keep applying the pressure. They are in the playoff race. Their only defeat in their last few games was against Birmingham, so we can look past that. Exeter City did go back to winning ways. They won away at Cambridge. Exeter City could do with something, but I don't think they're going to get anything. I'm going to go Charlton 2-0.
Yeah, I don't mind it. My mate Chris knocked at the door the other day because we lent him and his missus all of our Disney DVDs a few years ago, and they're now moving house and returning them. Chris is 2 things. He is actually on the ground staff at a Premier League club, so he has the best lawn you will ever see in your life. In fact, he's going to have to do that at the new house. He's also a Charlton fan. So the first thing I said to him was playoffs, and he was very excited about the possibility and seemed to think that was plausible. So I'm going to go with Chris, and I'm going to go with you. Did you go 2-0?
Yep.
I'll go for the classic then. Charlton 1, Exeter 0.
There you go. We like a Charlton 1-0. It's you could see a very good team missing out this season, Ben, because you've already got Orient, Huddersfield, and Stockport in there, and Charlton are bashing out lots of wins, but struggling to get into that top 6 at the moment. So someone's going to miss out. Another one of those teams, Ben, are Huddersfield Town. They're at home to Peterborough. This is a nice fixture, isn't it? And they've just come off the back of beating Barnsley and Shrewsbury. You did back them 1-0 away at Shrewsbury in midweek. You're up first. Are you going to go for, is it 3 wins in 3 for them? Yes. Yeah,
I am. And they're a bit streaky, Huddersfield. We've had a few times this season where we thought they've got up and running, and then I'll have to bring the fixtures up. But it feels like they've had a couple of sticky runs that kind of just come out of nowhere, including this recent one. But we both said about Mike Duff all season. You wouldn't be surprised if they end the season with 8 wins in 11 or something silly like that. Apparently, the lad, who's the lad they signed from Luton, and he's got himself injured now, and Dion Charles got hooked as well at half time. Yeah, so Taylor's it. So the we were saying a lot of stuff about the investment now and the January recruitment. Well, it's not yet paying dividends. I still think Dion Charles is absolute quality at League One level. Peterborough stink, obviously, don't they? And we've been spending a lot of time backing against them. God, I could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think it's 1 win in 12 for Posh, and that was at home to Wigan. So yeah, you've got to land on Huddersfield here. I will go for a good old Peterborough high scorer, 3-1.
Oh, there you go. I like that. I'm going 2-1 here, Ben. Got Huddersfield 2, Peterborough 1. I'll go for Peterborough to make it a close game, maybe, if they can score first or something. But I can't see past Huddersfield winning this. And, Ben, I'm really concerned about Peterborough now. If they lose this, they're under a point per game. So that is alarm bells, especially when 4 teams go down. Next up, Lincoln City versus Burton Albion. And this one feels tricky. I mean, Lincoln City on the back of a great 3-0 away win at Mansfield. The caveat is that Mansfield are in dreadful form at the minute. But Burton Albion having somewhat of a resurgence. They won 1-0 at Stevenage and had to see it out with 10 men. You did back them to win at Stevenage.
You bloody love Burton as well, don't you?
Do you know what? If Burton win, then they can overtake Peterborough, especially with the predictions we've gone for, with Peterborough to lose. But where are Lincoln now? Lincoln City, 10 points off.
Very middling, aren't they? You always get this point this time of the season where you get the same in the wins, draws and losses column. And if Lincoln draw this game, they'll have 11-11-11, which is like the definition of a middling team, isn't it?
It is. Do you know what? I think it might be close, but I reckon there'll be a late goal. And I'm going to go Lincoln 1-0.
I'm going to go for Burton then, just for a couple of reasons. Because it's paid me well before, and people are going to think I'm against Peterborough here, but it's a great narrative if you have a team that's been that good, drops into the relegation fight. I still can't see how they can go down with that squad, but they clearly can, Matt, if they're under a point per game, or they're set to be under a point per game. So I'm going to flip it then. Lincoln 0, Burton 1. How about that?
Oh, I like it. And like I say, with your predictions, that would have Burton overtaking Peterborough United. The next game is between Northampton and Bristol Rovers. It's a big game, isn't it, down at the bottom? A win would certainly give one the chance of moving clear of the bottom 4 for now. A defeat could leave one in trouble. You're up first. What are you predicting?
I think I'm predicting an unhelpful draw here, Matt. I think I'm coming right down the middle for this. So they've both had wins recently. In fact, they've both got 2 wins in the past 4 games, which will keep you out of dodge for sure. If you can do that a couple of times between now and the end of the season. And it feels like possibly these are 2 clubs that made the managerial changes. And I mean, Bristol Rovers and Northampton fans, correct me, but it feels like they've both kind of worked, changing the manager. I know John Brady kind of left rather than being turfed out. So I'll go right down the middle. No one's had a 0-0, have they yet, Matt?
No.
I'm trying to keep away from the 1-1. So I'll go 0-0.
Oh, there you go. Ben, after my terrible performance in predictions last week, I need to throw in a bonus point and hope it pays off.
I love it when I go 0-0 and you go 4-3 or something. That's brilliant.
Honestly, I think this could go either way. So I feel like it's fun to try and pick a winner. Northampton 2, Bristol Rovers 3 is my prediction.
Brilliant.
Could be really entertaining. Ben might be right, though, because it's such a big game with both trying to avoid defeat but trying to win at the same time.
Exactly.
I can see your 0-0 playing out, but let's say both teams go for it and it finishes 3-2 to the gas. Get your predictions down below. I'm up first for Shrewsbury versus Stevenage, and Shrewsbury Town back-to-back defeats now. Well, the thing that I thought would get them out of this, Ben, is results at home. But is that back-to-back home defeats? It is to Bolton, but it is to Bolton and Huddersfield. This one seems a bit nicer, Ben. Stevenage, I think you've called this from a little while out, that they've got themselves into that position now where maybe there's not a lot to play for and the results are just plateauing a little bit. I'm going to go Gareth Ainsworth, big win, 1-0 Shrewsbury.
I don't mind that, Matt. Yeah, I don't mind that. And yeah, you just don't want that regression to the mean if you're a Stevenage fan when they've done such a good job already this season. I think you've said it before on this show with these teams in the bottom 4. It's just got to go all out now, especially in home games. The draws aren't worth a lot, are they? They need wins. They need to move the needle. They need to move it fast. And people think we're a broken record talking about 4 going down, but it is brutal. And I mean, This is a lot. I would remove it. I would have 3 down from each division, but that's the way the pyramid lines up, and that's part of a broader conversation. Do you know what? I'll play for the draw. I'll go tactically just because you've backed Shrewsbury, and I'll take. Oh no, do I like Shrewsbury though? No, I'm not going to play tactically. I do think they're going to win. So I'll take so you take 1-0. I'll take the 2-1 then, a low margin win.
I like that, Ben. We're both.
And I changed my mind 20 times in 5 seconds. Then
we're both on the Shrewsbury train. I like it a lot. There has been improvement down at the bottom, Ben. I think we said last week that there's a bit more green down in the bottom 4 form column. So can Shrewsbury close that gap a little bit more? You're up first, Ben, for Wycombe Wanderers versus Wigan Athletic, and Wycombe are keeping Wrexham at arm's length, aren't they?
Yes, it was a really good day, wasn't it? Any day where you can take 3 points out of your nearest rivals, especially when they're playing at home, and Leyton Orient is Leyton Orient, but still is a good day. It did take me by surprise that they're a little bit closer to the 2 points per game than I thought, though. I thought they were significantly above it after that mass winning streak. Not that, Wycombe having 63 points at 31 games isn't absolutely brilliant. And I think the good news is that they're Wigan a bit of a sitting duck. I don't want to disrespect the club, but I think they are. Shout out for Cam Humphreys as well, an Ipswich Town loanee. He was on the score sheet the other night. So something. So was it 2-0 against Bristol Rovers? I might go for back-to-back 2. That's Wigan, isn't it? No, let's take a goal off because it's Wigan. 1-0. Wycombe 1, Wigan 0.
I was going to say that's going to be a scribble if it's 2-0 because I've gone for 2-0, but I can see I literally could see why you've gone for 1-0 because Wigan's defensive numbers, as we've highlighted before this season, are not too bad. But as you say, Wigan, are they in a position where there's not a lot to play for? I mean, 6 points above the bottom 4. They've still got to churn a few more points on. They're not in comfortable territory just yet, but Wycombe certainly have a lot more to play for. So I am backing them as well. 2-0. And it's really starting to look very likely, isn't it, for Wycombe this season, Ben? I mean, Wrexham are out of form and Stockport have got some catching up to do. Speaking of Wrexham, Ben, they need to bounce back. And is this a fixture they can bounce back with? It's Mansfield, but it is away. I do like Wrexham a bit more at home. That said, they did lose at home to Leyton Orient. This feels like a really big game. Wrexham have to win this, surely. I think they will. I don't like Mansfield at the moment, Ben. I mean, they started the season quite well, but this form is really poor, isn't it? Thankfully, they've done enough to keep themselves away from trouble for now. But I'm going to go Mansfield 0, Wrexham 2.
Yeah, I think you're being kind to Mansfield there. 8 defeats in 9 in all comps, and last 3 games they've conceded 3 goals in each of them. So they would have had to score 4 goals in any of those games to get a win, which is just making life incredibly difficult. Wrexham are going to...
Question, Ben, sorry. With Mansfield, do you suppose there's got to be pressure on Clough at this point, or have they already overperformed and they can have this underperformance now, if that makes sense?
I think the latter. I think because he's just guided them to promotion. I think they had a really good first half of the season. And without being overly simplistic, his name's Clough as well, which helps in football management, doesn't it? So, no, I don't think there's pressure on Clough. I think he's got a bit of a lifer gig there at Mansfield. But it is a massive, massive drop-off from where they were. You took the 2-0, didn't you? I think you're leaving me a 1-0 then. I don't think... Or should I go 3-0? No, that's unfair. I'm poor on Mansfield, isn't it? I'll take the 1-0 then. Mansfield 0, Wrexham 1.
There you go. 3 points is 3 points, and Wrexham need them. Guys, that wraps up our predictions for the weekend. Make sure to share your predictions for those games. Then we move on to 3 really big midweek games. We'll try and make it quick fire, but we do need to give an honourable mention to Birmingham versus Leyton Orient being a very big game. I'll let you go first. Birmingham, Leyton Orient.
I just want to raise something about Leyton Orient. I'm just looking at their fixtures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the next 7 away from home. So if you're looking for, things that are difficult for a team that's just winning every week, other than playing Birmingham, which is just nigh and impossible this season. They've got a lot of away games coming up. I don't know whether that makes a difference, although they've nailed Wrexham, and I think we both predicted them to nail Bolton as well. It's hard. I know we're supposed to be going quick fire. If anyone could beat Birmingham at the moment, this is the team. But it's at St Andrews, isn't it? So for the first time in about 6 months, I'm going to predict a Leyton Orient defeat. Can you imagine? But if anyone could do it, they can. And maybe they can get a point. Maybe you'll be bolder than me, but nah. Birmingham 2, Orient 1. Maybe Orient take the lead.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going Birmingham 1-0. And I was hoping one of us would kind of go for the draw, but you can't blame each other for both back in Birmingham at the moment. What I will say is I'll be happily surprised, pleasantly surprised if Leyton Orient can prove us wrong. But Birmingham 2-1 is what Ben's going with, and I'm going Birmingham 1-0. And big test for both. The next game, Ben, is between Northampton Town and Barnsley. Both have a lot to play for. Barnsley are only going to make the playoffs if they bash out lots of wins. I'm going first. I'll go for Barnsley. Northampton 1, Barnsley 2. No logic.
So Northampton got back-to-back home games against Bristol Rovers. It was really key kind of 4 days or whatever it is for Northampton. Yeah, I'm kind of with story time with Matt here, and Barnsley struggle at the weekend perhaps, and then this is the bounce-back game. We're really down the rabbit hole with the predictions here, but what did you say, 2-1?
Yes.
I'll go 3-1 then. 3-1 Barnsley. Northampton 1, Barnsley 3.
I like it. The final midweek game, Ben, you are up first for Wigan Athletic versus Huddersfield Town.
I've got to go for, it's predictable because it's Wigan, but I'll go for a low margin away win. And I will go Wigan 1, Huddersfield 2.
I'll go Wigan 0, Huddersfield 1. Huddersfield did win away in midweek at Shrewsbury 1-0. Ben took that. I'll take this one. I think they're just going to grind the 3 points out where they can. And Wigan, I expect the game to be low scoring. There you go. That wraps up our League One predictions for the weekend and the 3 games in midweek. We will re-adjourn next week for League One. Be sure to share your predictions down below and drop a like, subscribe over here, and subscribe to the wonderful Benjamin Bloom, where they can find what kind of content.
Well, you can find the Premier League Check-In podcast, which we recorded on Monday. That's me and Matt talking about the Premier League, but slightly differently than most people do it. We take a good look at the relegation sandwich and what's going on down at the bottom of the table. And then later in the show, Matt will take a look at some of the EFL teams absolutely bossing it. We were talking Fulham, Forest, Villa, got Brighton, Brentford and Newcastle we've all had in the EFL there. So it's a look at the Premier League. I know you guys here are primarily EFL fans, but don't worry, we're not going over Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, etc. It is with our EFL hats on. So you can check that out over at the Benjamin Bloom football channel. We're going to be doing that probably on Monday again this week coming up, because we got big EFL action on Monday night again, haven't we, Matt?
We certainly do, yes. Sheffield United versus Leeds. And will you be doing a watch along for that one, Ben?
And you can also catch a watch along on Monday night, thank you, Matt, of Sheffield United versus Leeds over on my channel.
Guys, please be sure to check out Ben's channel if you haven't already. Honestly, it is fantastic. Otherwise, you will see us again for League One predictions next week. Take care, everyone. Peace out.